And after all, a dream is a wish your heart plays when you're fast asleep.
In 2023, Disney released the animated film Wish to commemorate their 100th anniversary. On the surface, the film revolves around a young sorcerer who discovered the power to grant wishes, and the kingdom he built to protect those wishes. A young girl named Asha discovers that when people give him their wishes, they lose the part of them that yearns and struggles to make those wishes happen for themselves. Even worse, King Magnifico reveals that he believes he has the right to decide whose wishes deserve to be granted and whose wishes should never see the light of day for the safety of the kingdom. Later, reeling from disillusionment, Asha wishes upon a star one night and she's visited by a sort of avatar of the universe who helps her free the kingdom's wishes from Magnifico's clutches. The film is fairly anemic as a standalone story, instead mostly functioning as a kind of origin story for the Disney genre itself. Asha's wishing star is the Disney wishing star of When You Wish Upon a Star. The star loves to make animals talk and break into song. It gives Asha a magic wand that can create dresses a la Sleeping Beauty and transform vehicles like in Cinderella. And we even find out how that face got in the mirror from Snow White. In one scene, the film seems to imply that nearly every Disney movie was once a wish trapped in King Magnifico's magical man cave. But I don't care about any of that. Instead, I want to talk about how Wish is Disney's anarchist magnum opus. We're just having some fun here, go with me. There is no such thing as harmless power. About a quarter of the way through the film, we learn a chilling truth about the wish economy of the Kingdom of Rosas, that when you give your wish to King Magnifico, you forget what it was until he grants it. In the world of the film, I found that fairly horrifying, the idea of forgetting a piece of yourself and surrendering your dreams to an unaccountable monarch's whims, all done under the guise of security. Even worse, when citizens do ask Magnifico to return their dreams, he refuses, claiming it would only hurt them to know what they could never have. The individual cannot bargain with the state. The state recognizes no coinage but power, and it issues the coins itself. But beyond that, from a real-world political standpoint, in many ways that is the deal we're making with the state. We allow it a monopoly on violence and a structure it can use to perpetuate itself, and in exchange, we ask for protection. Guard my property from the thieving outsiders. Make sure me and my friends have enough, even if you have to take it from someone else. And exactly as happens in the film, the people we imbue with this power over life and death become twisted by it. I mean, think of the arrogance you'd have to say, I alone know what's best for every single person in this kingdom. I alone must determine what is safe. But I think that's human nature. If you're in a position of immense power and privilege, your mind must deal with the inherent unfairness of that in one of two ways. Admit you don't deserve to have that, or convince yourself that you must be worthy of it, else why would you have it? This kind of just world fallacy thinking undergirds so many of the power structures we labor under today, from academia to medicine to government. For those who govern find it necessary to occupy themselves with things which they do not understand and, above all, to waste the greater part of their energy in keeping themselves in power, striving to satisfy their friends, holding the discontented in check, and mastering the rebellious. In the case of King Magnifico, when confronted with the possibility that his power is eroding, he immediately turns to a book of forbidden magic that he himself claimed was evil. As we watch our own local, state, and federal governments send cops and soldiers armed with weapons of war to crush dissent, torture dissidents, and intimidate anyone protesting our genocidal politicians, I'm reminded that in years past, the US and her toadies bombed browner countries into oblivion to protect their residents from being oppressed in the same way. They hate us for our freedoms, we shouted as we slid deeper into fascism at home. Ironic. Authority, when first detecting chaos at its heels, will entertain the vilest schemes to save its orderly facade. Another big theme in the film is that King Magnifico relies on hopelessness to protect his rule. Many of the wishes he hoards and refuses to grant are wishes people have to become influential artists or thinkers driving the culture forward. What Magnifico calls safety and what we know to be control all rely heavily on those being controlled believing that a better world isn't possible, that this kind of bland docility is as good as it gets. When will people see the real cause of all their woe, the private ownership of the means of life? When will the masses learn that property is theirs and theirs only who has produced it, earned it? The pampered oligarchs in our own world are equally hostile to any kind of rhetoric implying that the status quo is inadequate because their power and money relies on that status quo. They gamed the system and everyone knows it, so it's in their best interest that nobody talks about it. That's why you saw vicious scheming against Bernie Sanders by corporate Democrats in 2020, and it's why you see horrific assaults on student protesters here in 2024. People who refuse to comfort themselves with thought-terminating cliches like, well, that's just the way life is, are people who just might make trouble for the regime, even committing the highest treason thinkable, withholding their labor until conditions improve. We do not want to rob anyone of his coat, but we wish to give to the workers all those things the lack of which makes them fall an easy prey to the exploiter. And we will do our utmost that none shall lack anything, that not a single man shall be forced to sell the strength of his right arm to obtain a bare subsistence for himself and his babes. That hopelessness benefits the powerful in another way. They can promise you a taste of glory in exchange for your loyalty. In the film, Asha's friend Simon falls into a deep depression after giving up his wish to the king. When Magnifico realizes someone is using star magic in defiance of his will, he promises to grant the wish of anyone who turns the magic user in. Simon betrays Asha, and Magnifico rewards him with his heart's desire, transforming him into a glorious knight. That's right, the character who betrayed a friend and doomed his own community, he gets to be a cop. Speaking of community, the climax of the film could not be less ambiguous. Just when it appears that Magnifico has consolidated too much power to be stopped, Asha and her friends begin to sing in harmony, and soon the rest of the kingdom joins them. The more people who join the movement, the less Magnifico's powers seem to work. There's no magical MacGuffin that slays the evil tyrant, just good old-fashioned solidarity. State power is no match for a people united. Practicing mutual aid is the surest means for giving each other and to all the greatest safety, the best guarantee of existence and progress, bodily, intellectual, and moral. Oh, and for you anarcho-vegans out there, this film has you covered too. When Asha is first visited by the wishing star, it starts enchanting nearby animals with the power of speech. When Asha asks how this is possible, the whole forest breaks out into a song about how, a la Carl Sagan, we are all stars, all made out of the same stardust that fuels the universe. We are ensouled by the same magic. It is not just subtext, but text in the film that humans and animals are equals and equally deserving of dignity. After King Magnifico is defeated, peace returns to the kingdom and the residents get their wishes back inside their hearts. We see a glimpse of a new world order dawning, during which we see an interesting little vignette. Queen Amaya, who walked away from her husband to stand with the people, calls two citizens over to her to examine their wishes. The woman's deepest wish is to fly someday, so the queen unites her with a citizen whose lifelong dream has been to build an airplane. An explicit depiction of that classic Marxist maxim, from each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. Taken as a whole, the film is very clear that giving away your autonomy in exchange for a little temporary negative peace is a raw deal. In Wish, the community has within it the knowledge and the drive to take care of each other. It is the totalitarian state that demands they perform powerlessness and obedience instead. At no point in Wish are the people ever threatened, much less contacted by an outsider. What is being threatened is King Magnifico's absolute dominance over his subjects, dominance he can only maintain through strongman tactics and information control. Taken as a whole, the film Wish has a beautiful thesis. We are all stars. We are all responsible for each other, and we are all capable of building a strong community based around shared needs without resorting to systems of patriarchal dominance. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Truly, we are rich, far richer than we think. Rich in what we already possess, richer still in the possibilities of production of our actual mechanical outfit. Richest of all in what we might win from our soil, from our manufacturers, from our science, from our technical knowledge, were they but applied to bringing about the well-being of all. So there you have it. Wish, a flawless anarchist tech.
Long live the queen!
Okay, well, maybe not flawless.